Welcome to Indiana News Desk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, the final leg of I-69 connecting Martinsville to Indianapolis is far from being complete, but preparation is in full swing. 5 proposed routes for Section 6 left Mooresville residents with mixed emotions. Those routes have now been narrowed down to 1. Lindsay Wright has more details.
Thanks, Joe. INDOT recommended this week that the route following State Road 37 be selected for the final stretch of I-69 to Indianapolis. While the overwhelming majority of public comments were in favor of that route, not everyone is happy.
I am pleased to announce today that the State Road 37 corridor has been identified as the reasonable alternative for building I-69 between Martinsville and Indianapolis.
Nearly 1,000 comments from the public and an in-depth analysis from the Indiana Department of Transportation led officials to their decision, a decision leaving the majority of Hoosiers along the potential routes breathing a sigh of relief.
There was overwhelming support for 37. You can, just kind of look at a map and see that it makes sense.
Employees of the Link Observatory Space and Science Institute in Mooresville were among the supporters of the 37 route. Another path INDOT considered, alternative Route B, would have crossed State Road 67 and ultimately rendered their observatory useless due to light pollution. Now observatory officials don't have to worry about the impacts of Section 6, but other businesses and homeowners do. Indy's Family Restaurant sits along 37 in Martinsville and could be one of the nearly 100 businesses forced to relocate due to the I-69 expansion. Other ongoing construction projects are already taking a toll on the locally owned business.
When that traffic's backed up, a lot of people don't want to get off the highway and stop and get something to eat after they've been sitting in traffic for a while.
The owner of the building is already considering buying new property on the other side of 37, which Indy's could eventually move to. Although the chosen route will mean the potential relocation of 279 homes, INDOT officials say State Road 37 generates the best return on investment in a variety of factors. The route will reduce crashes and travel times. It will also increase wages and an estimated 4,600 permanent jobs. INDOT officials say they plan to use as much of the existing state road as possible, but nothing is set in stone just yet. The interstate's path could shift east or west by 400 feet in order to lessen the environmental and human impacts. I-69 from Evansville to just south of Bloomington opened in December. The stretch from Bloomington to Martinsville is under construction and set to open this year, and construction for the final section is expected to begin in 2020.
And Lindsay Wright joins us now to discuss a little bit more. So they have a route, but now what's next?
Yeah, so the fact that they picked and singled out a route, it's a significant step in the process. Now state officials will work with local officials and they'll work with residents. They want to create a mutually beneficial outcome as much as possible anyway. And so now they're going to get more detailed. Since they have a route picked out, they're going to look at exactly where they want it to be laid. They want to use as much of the existing 37 as possible, but it might shift a little bit because they want to, create as little impact as possible. They're also expecting to have a draft of an environmental impact statement done by the first quarter of 2018.
So last we heard, funding still wasn't secured. Is that still the case?
The development side of the process has been funded. So that's design, the environmental process, but the construction side, that has yet to be secured. But construction isn't going to start until 2020. So officials are confident that they can figure out the best way to identify that source for funding.
You mentioned public opinion is crucial to this. Is this still important in the future too?
It's going to remain important. INDOT is holding 2 public meetings coming up in the next week, one on April 4th at Perry Meridian High School and one on the 5th at Martinsville High School. People will be able to comment on the documents and the reports. They'll be able to ask questions, they'll raise concerns, and more meetings will be planned in the future as this process continues.
All right, still a long ways to go.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lindsay.